Frank Sepe for NPC News Online. I'm here at the 2018 Arnold Classic with these three gentlemen. It's a reunion of the 1993 NPC Nationals. I have Dean Caputo, Mike Francois, and Don Long. I'm sure you bodybuilding fans recognize all of these guys. Some of the greatest bodybuilders in NPC history, right guys?
Well, I don't leave that up to you.
Yeah. So 25 years this year, right, Dean?
Yep.
When you guys were competing, no iPhones, no bikini, no social media, magazines, right?
That was it.
So what do you think the biggest change in the industry's been?
The biggest change, has been social media. It's been crazy. Like back when I first started, there was no such thing as internet.
Yeah.
So now the internet came. It was all just magazines, and that was it. That's where we got our information. So yeah, it's been social media and then the bikini and the fitness and all that. Unbelievable.
What about you?
Well, I think the biggest change really is just the instantaneous way you can see people. So in our day, you would go back to Ohio or Maryland, right? And you kind of hibernate, do your thing, come out, and no one would see you really unless maybe a guest posing here or there. But now, people see you from workout to workout. So I think that's changed. Kind of the expectations maybe have changed some.
It's right. Remember when '96, I think it was, Dorian Yates took the black and white photo and and everyone was like, "Oh my God," you know.
What are we gonna do now?
Now what are we gonna do now? Yeah. How about you, Don?
I would say definitely the social media. Also, I mean, I think it's been good, but I think it's bad also as far as I think the work ethic is slack because of it. Because when we're constantly on our phones, constantly, we have to go home and check voice messages just for a message, So now you can check message, you can text, you can do this, and I think it's the distraction in the gym compared to when we were training. We just go in there, we train hard, we focus, and not a lot of distractions at all, if you choose to anyway. Nowadays, I just think it's so many distractions that even me, I don't know how I would deal with it in this era, so yeah.
25 years ago, what was your posing music?
I posed to Michael Jackson. I had a little mixture, and actually, I was surprised. I actually won the best poser of the show. Yeah. I got the plaque from Joe Weider and stuff. It's pretty neat. Yep.
You got any moves?
No, the little moonwalk.
How about you, Mike?
Don just told me what it was. It's called Jam. Somebody did all the routines for me.
Yeah, wasn't it Space Jam and Michael Jordan?
Yeah, it was like jam. It ain't too hard for me to jam. Yeah.
So
he had the glass cling, and then he went into a real last red. I got a good memory.
He knows it better than I do.
Yeah,
Good.
I know it better than he does.
What was yours?
Mine was Prince, International Lover. Yeah.
Don was smooth back then.
Had to get my sexy on,
What did you weigh? And do you remember what you weighed that show?
I was a 256.
Wow. What about you? What did you weigh?
At the Nationals, probably 234.
I was 224 that year. I came up from the Junior Nationals the year before, and I was 194. So that was the year I made my impact up to the heavyweights at 224. So yeah.
Still a lot of weight back then. I mean, you're definitely not in classic physique or men's physique.
Back then, if you had someone 260 or 270, they most likely they weren't going to do good because most likely it was big football player type bodies. You had to be in this kind of range, give or take, 250 and under, to be pretty good back then. Anyway,
Maybe because I weighed 256, that's why I took fifth.
Listen, I was 263 and I never turned pro.
I was 256.
What's your fondest memory of the NPC and IFBB?
Oh, the fondest is just being around these group of guys. That's been the funnest thing, is even going through. It's like we never were battling against each other. We'd compete. We all had a good time. We still all get along. That's why we wanted to do this reunion. We all became friends. And just being around the NPC has just been the greatest thing. That's what I like about it, just the camaraderie.
How about you, Mike?
I think the fondest memories really were just the relationships that you made with people that, from all parts of the world, all parts of the country that you wouldn't have had. I wouldn't have had the opportunity I had to travel and do things like that for guest appearances had it not been for this. And so that's probably some of the best things, and some good friendships were developed as well.
Yeah, and for me, particularly going into that show, just to see, Mike Francois and Dean Caputo, once again, he was all over the GNC bottles, so I knew him right away. And Mike Francois, just from coming from the USAs and things like that, so he was already kind of one of the favorites going to the show. And when you get backstage and they're there, so it's you're a fan of these guys at the same time. Of course, you want to win, but it was just good to be back there. And then from that point, just to see, we all kind of see each other throughout the years. We competed together before, after that, in some Arnolds and things like that. So it's and of course, as far as bodybuilding itself, just that platform just gave me opportunity, of course, to just keep running a business and things like that. So I'm still able to run a business today because of it. So it's been special. Yeah.
What place did you come in?
5th.
First.
Fourth, yeah. Controversial.
Yeah.
Are you still mad at him? Fourth?
Yeah, I tried to kick him, but he wouldn't. He kept running.
I was hoping for a third. I think I should beat Edgar, but I think he had a lot of popularity that year. So
I think it's good to say too. Edgar Fletcher and Dennis Newman. Dennis was second. And Edgar was
second. Yeah, it was a good group of guys for sure.
Yeah.
And then you still had Tony Freeman in about 6th place at that year, right? Tony Freeman was in 6th.
kind of like Edgar and Dean, who didn't turn pro, but today's sport. I mean, then they could have, let alone today. So
There were a lot of guys back then. Matt Mendenhall was another one too. There were a lot of great bodybuilders.
Oh, Madlock was good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you had to win the overall.
Nationals you had to win. USA's you had to win overall. Nationals you had to win your class, which was just deep though. The 14th, 15th place was shredded and good. So and of course 15 and under, you didn't even come back to the night show. Under 15, you came back to the night show. So it was a tough, deep shows, always, So
started. There wasn't even the USA winner didn't even turn pro, did they?
Yeah.
No, not when I first started.
America. So
In '91, when I took 3rd, it was Matarazzo, Flex, myself. You could. That's when you turn pro in the overall.
Phil Williams, he won the '85. He won the first USA's, I believe, and he won the '85 Nationals. So he won 2 shows, but '85 he couldn't turn pro at the USA's, but he turned pro at the Nationals because I'm friends with Phil Williams. You remember Phil Williams? Yeah. So he's the only guy to actually win both competitions. So overalls at both. So.
How are you still involved in the industry?
Well, when I was doing in '93 was my last show, so I ended up retiring from there, and I was getting really heavily into the supplement business. I have my company, Natural Sport, and I also I promote shows, NPC shows. I've been doing it since '89, promoting shows, and like right now we have the North Coast Championships up at Kent State. So I've been heavily in promoting shows and still heavily in the supplement business.
So a training business, and my wife Shannon and I promote the Mike Francois Classic each year in May. So it's our 21st year. We started the year before I ended my bodybuilding career. So it's growing every year. It's gotten bigger. A lot of support really from around the country. So and those are what we're doing, trying to raise my kids. So 2 boys. So it's good. It's fun.
Yeah. So me, of course, just a coaching business. Me and my wife both. She coaches the females. I coach the men. Because it's been very successful. A lot of overall champions, a lot of national champion, USA champions. So, we do pretty good with that coaching business. So, yeah.
You can find all the contest information on NPC News Online for both their shows and all the shows in 2018. It's funny how, people who compete, they stay in the industry. They have a love. The people who truly have a love for the sport. And once you hit stage, you create a special bond.
Yeah.
When I competed with Gerard Dente, and he's still friends with all those guys. It's just, I think people think like, everyone's at war, everyone's fighting, but it's furthest thing from the truth,
Right. Exactly. That's what the magazines portray too.
Yeah.
Is that we're all at each other, but everybody's friends. And what's funny is as you compete and you're competing against each other, most likely you've all beat each other at least once. Yeah. So then that takes that whole stigma, like I'm gonna beat you away. It just like goes away. So
I think back then, because it was a smaller group of fitness people, we all knew everybody knew it. Women, men, we all knew everybody for the most part. And then all that people from the 90s up until around the late 90s, you still have a good camaraderie with all those people. Now it's kind of changing where it's just so many people that no one knows us sometimes. We don't know them. So, and I think it's going to kind of remain that way, for the most part.
You name every pro in Ohio,
Yeah.
and it's a big state. When you were coming up, right? But now I couldn't. There's 20 in my gym, I think. Fitness, bikini. And nothing wrong with that. Just so many.
Yeah, so many. Yeah.
Well, one of the great things that Jim Mannion has done is he's created categories for everyone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, back in the day, myself, all you guys we wanted to be bodybuilders, we wanted to be biggest. Not everybody wants to do that today, which is fine, but you got class, you got men's physique, you got bikini, you got everything, which is great, It's great to see this sport evolve. I mean, yeah.
It's just evolving, it's evolving. There's more avenues for people to compete as opposed to just bodybuilding. So
As a promoter, we love it. You know, it's really helped our shows a ton. You know, back when I had the Powerhouse Classic and we were only doing bodybuilding, you know, it was like if we had 60 guys. It was huge, you know.
Big show, 80 people, huge, you know.
80, forget it. It was 60, you know. And then
And drop at the prejudging. Remember those days before the music and all that? So yeah, it's come a long way.
Just women's bodybuilding backstage too. Without, you know, we competed too.
Fitness came along. Fitness came along in the early '90s too, though. Yeah.
So how do people contact you on social media? I'm sure you're on there.
yeah, I can.
My Instagram friend.
You can just go Dean.Caputo on Instagram, and NorthCoastChampionships.com is our website for the show.
Want to leave any closing remarks?
I just, I love the NPC. It's changed my life. It's given me a good living, and I just wish everybody luck. All the competitors in Arnold this year.
How about you, Mike? Social?
As far as I'm on Instagram and all those things.
We all are.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, reluctantly, right? But, you know, the easiest way to contact me or about our show is just MikeFrancois.com. Has all the information. And in closing, I appreciate Dean kind of getting us together here today. It's something I wouldn't have thought of or put together, but when you do that kind of stuff, you're glad you did, because like we were talking about, the camaraderie and just seeing guys again and how life goes on and, you know, your different things change. It's good for me to see. Everybody goes through that transition, and so I'm glad, thankful to Dean for doing it and Don for coming.
Are you guys going to do anything? You know, squat, go out to eat? What are you going to do?
Dean's going to pose.
Sit in a seat. That's about it.
How about you, Don?
You know, people can of course reach me, you know, Don Long IFBB Pro on Instagram, and of course on Facebook you just look for me under my name. So, and I'm just happy once again, same kind of way he said, is that that Jim has created this atmosphere, created this platform for us to, from way back then, to still be able to continue this for now. Up until this point, you know, creating a good livelihood, a good career, and also now I'm in a position where I can actually help other people also. So it's just kind of continuation. So I appreciate that. And then for this, once again, you know, just to have us here, it just takes me right back to '93 and remember some of the things like his song, the backstage. I remember just even taking off my clothes, you know, just the first time. So it just takes you back to '93, and it was kind of good. I'm glad Dean thought of it also. So yeah.
For me, it's definitely an honor to interview all three of you. As a young bodybuilder, I was a huge fan of all you guys. You know,
We're following you.
You know, with that Flex magazine, you know, every month, wait for it to come out and
Back then,
see it out. And thank you. I appreciate it, and I wish you all well. And you check out all these guys on social media, all true gentlemen. Thank you so much. It's Frank Sepe for NPC News Online. Thank you.
Thank you. No, thanks.